Good morning, students. I come to you from a very bright classroom here at Inca High. It's a little brighter than I like it to be this early in the morning, but anyway, here we are. So I just want to say good morning. I want to get some announcements out of the way in a video format rather than me just typing a bunch of stuff, although I'll probably have to type it too because some of you might see the video and say, I'm not watching that. I want to start by saying thank you for all of you that have done your work. I would say 80% of you have done every single assignment when I asked you to do it. Usually before the end of the day, and you turned it in the appropriate way, and I thank you. Okay, I really appreciate that. One thing that you guys are hopefully learning is that with me, you just got to read everything. Okay, so if you're going on Google Classroom and you're skimming and you're like, well, what am I supposed to do today? And then you just skim and scroll through, you're going to end up getting really confused. And then you're going to be sending me an email and saying, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do today. So make sure, okay, that when I post something on Google Classroom, and soon we'll be moving almost fully to OneNote, but when I post something, make sure you read everything. Just like right now, I hope you watch the whole video, okay, and you like and subscribe. No, I'm just kidding. But I hope you watch the whole video. So make sure you read everything. When I give you an assignment, make sure you do it promptly because you definitely don't want to get behind on stuff. I think we had a good first week. It was nice to see some students again from a distance, and that was obviously a very tricky situation. For those of you that are virtual, I wish I could see you. I actually recognize a lot of you on my roster, and I hate that I'm not going to be able to see you in person, because I've taught you before and I remember you. But hey, that's okay. I look forward to seeing your faces on a Zoom call very soon, okay? Next thing I want to talk about is attendance. The attendance policy, I suppose, was not very well communicated to the community. So if you are still confused about attendance, you can talk to Ms. Harris and call down here to the school. You can send me an email if you're confused, and I'll explain it. But the gist of it, as we talked about yesterday, you have got to do things for every class every day. So even if you're like, yeah, but I thought today was a, B day, second period. I'm A in fourth period, so why should I have to worry about anything? We still have to account for you every single day. So make sure that you're doing the assignments that we tell you to do. And I'll say for my class, they've been pretty easy. What is your name? Sign next to your name. I mean, it's very easy. And next week, it's going to be more of the same, but I am going to make it a little more content specific. We're starting to make it a little more difficult, so get ready for that, okay? And then next week, that's the last week of onboarding. And then as you guys hopefully know, okay, on August 31st, there it is, on August 31st, that's when we're going to start our synchronous schedule, okay? That's when first period's going to meet at 9 o'clock, second period's going to meet at 10 o'clock. You get how lunch works. Third and fourth, and again, that's when we'll have those Zoom calls every day. Zoom calls, as you hopefully know, last about 30 minutes, and if you are not there when the Zoom call starts, okay, you're going to be counted absent for that day in that class. So make sure that you're there, all right, starting on August 31st, okay? One note, a lot of you have been a little passive-aggressive about it, and in Google Classroom, and you've said, well, all my other teachers in Google Classroom, and you're doing OneNote. And again, I've talked about it to my students in person. I've mentioned the reason I use OneNote, and it's because it's going to help us a lot when we start doing math and we start doing formulas and we have to do subscripts and we have to do exponents. Just trust me, you'll be glad that you're not typing it in a Google Doc. You'll be glad that you can just write it or take a picture of your work and submit it that way. So that's the plan for that. That's why we're doing it. My video that I made and put on Google Classroom, I made with what I understood was the process to get you guys into OneNote. As soon as I had students in the classroom, I learned that was not the case. They've changed a couple things around and made it a little more difficult. It still basically works the same, but there's a couple of just slightly different things, and I mentioned that in, I think, my Google post on 8/18. So on August 18th, I typed and I said, look, here's step-by-step how you need to get there. Yesterday, I gave you some more information on OneNote, and I said, look, here's the three main sections in OneNote. What is the collaboration space? What is the Narron folder? What is the folder that's named after you? So, like, if your name is, I don't know, John Smith, the folder will be called John Smith, okay? So OneNote, if you're still having issues with that, you better get them nailed out today because you got to be ready. And if you're still having trouble, call tech support. Another thing that we've talked about in class, and is something that I think is worth mentioning, that's why I've taken time to talk about it to every student that I've had in my classroom, is we've discussed what does it mean to be a good teacher. And a lot of you communicated things to me and you said, look, this is what my teachers did that I really liked during virtual learning last year. This is what I hope you'll do again. And I hear those suggestions, and I'm thinking about doing, let's see, can I do this? There we go. So over here, you'll see this is my office hour plan. We'll probably not start it right off the bat because we're not doing a lot of difficult stuff right off the bat. But instead of having a 30-minute Zoom call, as you can see, on Monday and Wednesday, we'll probably have an hour of chemistry where you can just drop in, ask me any questions. It'll be like an open meeting, and you can come in, get the information you need, and then leave. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we'll have physics drop-in Zoom meetings. And so again, it will not be required. I'm not taking attendance, but if you're having trouble with an assignment, that'll be the day that you can come in and say, Mr. Narron, can you go over X, okay? And I'll talk about whatever I need to talk about, okay? And then another thing we've talked about is what does it mean to be a good online learner? What does it mean to be a good student? And that's something that a lot of you guys need to think about. If you were that student in the spring where maybe you logged into Google Classroom one time and then you never did an assignment again, you are not going to get away with it this semester. Okay, we have to take grades. There's not going to be any more incompletes, or the lowest that I can give is a 70. We have to start grading you. We are going to take attendance based on the schedule that's behind me, and you've got to be there. So make sure you keep those things in mind and just think, what can you do to be a good student? What can you do to be successful during this time? Okay, and as I sign off, let me just remind you guys, you've got to communicate with me. If you are having difficulty with something, I am not going to know about it, okay? If I see that you haven't signed into OneNote, excuse me, I'm going to assume it's because you're lazy and you're sitting at home. What is the game everybody's playing now? I don't know. Maybe you guys still playing Fortnite. Maybe you're on the Snapchat or the Instagram. But that's what I'll assume you're doing. I'm not going to know you're having technical issues unless you tell me. Okay, and if you are, call the help desk. They'll help you. Email me. I'll try and help you, and we'll figure it out. But otherwise, I don't know. You can email me. You can text me on Remind, and you guys have all that information. On August 10th, I sent an email to every student that was enrolled in my class and said, look, here's all the information you need to get into Google Classroom and Remind. So you can communicate that way. So if you need anything, and I do mean that. I know a lot of teachers are saying that, but if you need anything, if there's anything I can do, if you're not feeling safe at home, if there's something that you need, please contact me or contact your counselor or call the school. We are here to support you and make this semester as good as it can possibly be. Thank you, and as always, I hope you're proud to be a Jet.